I accidentally triggered a mind-reading ability and found out that the aloof female CEO was actually a total clingy sweetheart on the inside. Not only did she daydream about all kinds of intimate scenes every day, she even secretly went online to look up tips on how to win me over. But just when she was putting on an act, getting dressed as if she was about to leave, I heard her inner voice screaming like crazy. Right then, she was literally searching how to make your husband make the first move, and I was standing behind her trying so hard not to laugh. Oh no, hubby's looking at me. If you don't make a move, I'm really gonna put my clothes on. Seriously. She slowly put her clothes on, sat down at the computer, and typed, "How to make your husband make the first move." I was dumbfounded. Ever since I got this mind reading thing, I've started doubting whether she's really that cold, untouchable CEO. On the outside, she's a frosty boss lady, but inside, she's all glitter and fireworks. I stood not far from Jennifer Delaney, watching her frown at the computer screen. If someone didn't know better, they'd think she was handling some top secret business. Who would have thought that an Ice Queen CEO would actually go online to ask strangers for help just because her newlywed husband didn't make a move? This is outrageous. Completely insane. I couldn't help sighing and called out to her, testing the waters. "Jennifer? Oh no. Why is hubby using my full name? We're married now. Why is he still being so distant?" Her thoughts beat her mouth to it, and right after that, Jennifer turned to look at me, eyes cool and distant. "What is it?" Not gonna lie, I still wasn't used to this whiplash. Should we go to bed? I pointed at the bed and asked carefully. After all, it was our wedding night. No matter how sparkly her brain was, we still had to go through the motions. Hubby wants to sleep with me. Does that mean he's into me too? Knew it wearing silk pajamas and putting on body lotion worked. Gotta remember to give my assistant a bonus tomorrow. Jennifer nodded with cold, reserved grace and gave a clipped little hum. Looking at her frosty face while her mind was off flying circles was giving me whiplash. On the surface, it was a loveless arranged marriage. Underneath it was a silly and love wife living her best rom-com. It all felt a bit split. I sighed, got into bed, and got ready to sleep. Oh my God, hubby's gonna sleep with me. I'm so happy. I've waited for him for over 10 years and I finally married him. Hearing that, my eyes flew open and I stared in disbelief at Jennifer, who was just about to lie down. I stared so hard her expression started to stiffen. "Why are you looking at me instead of sleeping?" Her brows pinched together and she looked kind of displeased. If it weren't for that inner voice blaring so loud it made my head throb, I really would have thought she hated me. I used to think she hated this arranged marriage, but now it didn't seem to be what I thought. You know how it goes. Marriage is done by parents' orders and a matchmaker's words. That's exactly how it was for me and Jennifer. My dad and her dad were comrades in arms when they were young. They say her dad almost died on the battlefield saving mine. A life-saving grace can't really be repaid. So in the end, they decided to repay it with a daughter. And so, half a month ago, I flash married the CEO, Jennifer. I always thought she wasn't really willing, but Jennifer was exactly my type. Especially that face, so pretty, it was unreal walking down the street she'd turn every head. Before the wedding, my dad was afraid I'd refuse, so he even sat me down for a talk. You two used to play in the mud every day as kids. Once, when you played house, Jennifer called you husband in front of the whole room of adults, and you got so shy you buried your head in the couch. I also suddenly remembered how in elementary school I'd done badly on my midterm and was scared I'd get a beating at home. I just squatted by the roadside with an empty stomach, too scared to go back. She was in a white dress then. So elegant. She looked like a princess out of a fairy tale. She handed me a lollipop, took my hand, and talked to me for a long time. I never forgot that day. But after that, whenever I saw Jennifer again, I always felt she was too cold. Nothing like the easygoing girl from before. Not until high school, when her family moved close to ours. The year she took the college entrance exam, I was taking the high school entrance exam. In high school, I found out she was the school beauty 3 years running and also a straight-A student, basically a living legend. Maybe because I was influenced by Jennifer, I worked my butt off for 3 years and got into the same university she went to. Only, I just started as a freshman when she was already getting ready to go abroad. Before she left, she even ran into our class monitor confessing to me. That day, she pulled me aside on purpose and lectured me, seriously listing 300 ways dating would ruin my grades. But thinking back now, something about that feels off. Jennifer's voice pulled me back from my wandering thoughts. Hubby keeps staring at me like that. Is he planning to do something? Oh no. Why do I feel kind of excited? I'm so nervous. Instinctively, I thought, so my wife actually thinks like this. Does she want me to do something? Oh no, I'm suddenly feeling restless. I'm so hyped. I think my brain is getting dragged into the gutter. Black lines filled my head as I watched Jennifer quietly pull the blanket over her head. I suddenly felt like she'd wanted to rob the cradle since I was a kid. A wicked little idea popped up. I decided to test this playful woman. So I braced one hand on the mattress and leaned slowly toward her. I heard her thoughts spinning around in excitement again. Oh no, hubby's getting closer. Could it be he wants to kiss me? I'm so shy. Should I lean in first? How is this Ice Queen CEO such a romance dummy? I just shifted a little and she basically seduced herself. Smiling despite myself, half exasperated, half amused, I asked straight out, "Will you let me kiss you?" For a second, I saw Jennifer freeze, her cheeks flushing crimson. There was shock in her eyes, like I'd read her mind. She didn't move for a long moment. Her inner voice even went quiet, so I started to hesitate. Maybe she was all talk and no action. I was just about to awkwardly turn away when she suddenly grabbed my arm, twin patches of color blooming fast on her cheeks. Seeing that, I felt a flicker of doubt. You don't answer when I ask, but you won't let me go either. What do you actually want? The air between us got warmer. The pink on her face spread to the tips of her ears. A tiny mosquito-soft answer slipped out. For a moment, it didn't feel real. Did she just make a sound? When I didn't respond, Jennifer blushed even harder and raised her voice a little. I said, "I'm willing." She lifted her eyes, those clear, watery eyes staring straight at me, and suddenly I felt my heartbeat trip over itself. Damn it. I was just teasing, and now Jennifer actually wants to go through with it? It felt like being thrown back to childhood, when Jennifer had called me husband in front of our parents, leaving me in total chaos. Her big, glistening eyes locked onto me, and I swallowed nervously. The next second, her doubtful inner voice came again. Why isn't hubby doing anything? I just said it really loud. Come on, do something, hubby. I can't wait anymore. Don't be fooled by how calm she looks inside. She's burning. And don't be fooled by my teasing. I was freaking out inside. When her expression started to turn slightly contemptuous, I steeled myself. I reached out, covered her eyes, and gave her a quick peck on the lips. Jennifer froze. I grinned, suddenly amused, rolled over, and pulled up the blanket to sleep. Ha! That'll teach you to look down on your husband. Lying there, I was still savoring the jelly soft feeling when her quiet lament floated to my ears. Why did hubby only kiss me once? Aren't people supposed to go for like 3 hours? Maybe I wasn't proactive enough, or maybe I didn't smell good enough today. I nearly burst out laughing, burying my face in the blanket, shoulders shaking. How could an Ice Queen CEO be this adorable? Maybe it was the exhaustion from the wedding. But the moment I closed my eyes, I didn't want to open them again. Just as I was drifting off, Jennifer's voice came again. Is hubby asleep? Oh no, he didn't hold me while sleeping. Maybe I can sneak into his arms. He probably won't notice, right? This ice-cold CEO was such a drama queen. I rolled my eyes in the dark, too sleepy to care anymore. Half asleep, I suddenly felt something soft press against me. When I woke the next morning, the first thing I saw was a beautiful face right in front of mine. We were so close that if I moved even a little, I could touch her lips. Her lashes curled slightly. Her tiny nose moved with each breath, her cheeks pink like apples. My wife was gorgeous. Should I steal a kiss? I was just leaning in when Jennifer's lashes fluttered. Hubby didn't push me away last night. It felt so comfy in hubby's arms. Gotta stay still so hubby doesn't know I'm awake. This silly woman was still pretending. My face darkened. I pulled my arm out from around her, and Jennifer's eyes flew open, looking dazed. Then she blinked and tried to look like she'd just woken up. Ha 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 ha, I nearly lost it. Totally caught, and she still tried to fake it. I held back my laughter with a straight face as Jennifer gradually slipped back into her cool CEO persona, shot me a calm glance, and turned toward the bathroom. The contrast from last night was ridiculous. I couldn't help but smile. Who was it again, begging for kisses and cuddles? Barely 3 seconds passed before I heard her pitiful inner voice again. Why isn't hubby holding me anymore? Is it because I don't look pretty when I just wake up? What? Does hubby think I'm gross now? Okay, fine. Maybe I do have a bit of sleep in my eyes, but that's not my fault. I was shaking from trying not to laugh. I fell back on the bed, laughing so hard I could barely breathe. By the time Jennifer came out, I'd wiped the grin off my face. When I walked into the bathroom, I said, casually, "Excuse me." Her expression froze. Then confusion, panic, and finally utter embarrassment flashed across her face like a whole light show. I was laughing inside like crazy. So much for acting cold in front of your husband. Before I even turned on the faucet, her inner voice came again. Why is hubby still being so distant? Does he not love me anymore? Fine. I won't sleep with that stinky hubby tonight. My smile froze. Okay, maybe I went too far. After breakfast, we each went to our respective companies. While putting on my shoes, I glanced at Jennifer standing beside me and immediately heard her tangled thoughts. I really want to spend more time with hubby, but how do I ask if I can drop him off at work? He's almost done putting on his shoes. I need to come up with a good excuse before he finishes. I deliberately slowed down, curious how long she'd hold out. But wow, this woman really was repressed. She just stood there watching me tie my shoes for 5 full minutes, panicking inside the whole time. Not a single word came out. Fine, I gave up hope. I'm off. I grabbed my bag and headed out. Jennifer followed behind me, still muttering non-stop in her mind. Honestly, if there were ever an award for this, I'd give it to her. Queen of Trash Talk! Drama Queen! When I got to work, my supervisor immediately assigned me a new project. He said it was a big opportunity, but come on, it was clearly a hot potato no one else wanted. I wasn't expecting much until I saw the name of the partner company. Oh, great. Perfect. Wasn't that Jennifer's company? Well, technically ours, since it was part of our shared marital assets. My coworkers tried to console me, and I put on a pained expression. I won't let the company down. I'll do my best. I said it like I was suffering, but inside I was grinning like an idiot. After sorting through the documents, I headed straight to Jennifer's company. While standing at the front desk, I overheard the receptionist gossiping. So, what kind of man do you think President Jennifer likes? I'm dying to know. She probably likes those charming, muscular guys, right? Charming and muscular? I glanced down at my casual clothes, deep in thought. Come on, like she'd ever look at us anyway. You never know. Haven't you seen all those dramas where the boss falls for her employee? So romantic. Maybe that'll happen to us. Nice dream, but harsh reality. Jennifer was already married, and the man she married was me. I waited in the lobby for about 15 minutes, 14 of which were filled with non-stop gossip about her. Looks like I really needed to start watching out for potential rivals. While I was still lost in thought, Jennifer's assistant came downstairs. Kristen led me to the meeting area. Just as I was about to go in, I saw Jennifer coming out of a conference room on the other side. Looked like she'd just finished a meeting. I thought she'd just walk past me, but to my surprise, she walked straight toward me. "What brings you here?" she asked, face calm and cool. I was about to make a snarky comment about that icy expression when I heard her inner voice shouting with joy. Oh my God. Hubby came here just to see me? I'm so touched. He really is the best in the world. So the icy CEO was actually a total love-struck fool. I cleared my throat, trying to meet her expressionless face without laughing. I'm here on behalf of my company about that previous project. The next second, I heard her joy plummet straight from the clouds. So hubby didn't come just to see me after all. Right. Otherwise, he could have sent someone else. Yep. A lovesick fool isn't scary. It's when the fool starts self-sabotaging that things get terrifying. Jennifer seemed to have other matters to handle and left after her assistant urged her, while I soon met the project lead and resumed negotiations between our companies. For some reason, the negotiation went unusually smoothly today. None of the trouble my coworkers warned me about ever appeared. I didn't overthink it, just wanted to wrap things up quickly. As the meeting was winding down and everyone was laughing and chatting, I suddenly heard a very familiar voice in my head. Why is hubby laughing so happily? Let me see who he's laughing with. That unexpected voice made me jolt. You've got to be kidding me! Was this what they meant by hearing her before you see her? The next moment, someone knocked on the meeting room door. Miss Jennifer! President Jennifer! The project manager beside me instantly lost her smile and shot to her feet. Was Jennifer really that scary? I turned my head and met that cool, perfectly sculpted face. Okay, fine. When she wasn't smiling, she did look pretty intimidating. But that was just her cover inside. She was all sass. Carry on. Pretend I'm not here. With that, Jennifer sat down right beside us. I didn't mind, but the project manager froze up completely. Her tension was visible to the naked eye. You were giggling a second ago, and now you can't even speak? Luke Dawson. Seriously, talk about work if you must, but why are you laughing with another woman? Jennifer's internal monologue was a full-on drama. My scalp tingled just listening. The meeting room went dead silent as the manager wiped sweat from her forehead. Even she was pressing her lips together. Since the project details are all settled, I won't take up more of your time, I said first, breaking the awkward silence. Hugging my folder, I stood up to leave. The manager quickly followed. Then let's look forward to a successful collaboration. Mr. Dawson, since we're done, how about dinner tonight? She added, then immediately froze and glanced at Jennifer. I was sure it just slipped out. Jennifer's face didn't change, but her internal complaints came loud and clear. Dinner? Dinner with who? You barely met him and you're already inviting him to eat. Does this woman not have a husband of her own? Why is she eyeing my baby? That baby caught me so off guard I nearly twisted my ankle. Thankfully, Jennifer quickly reached out to steady me. You okay? Her voice was soft and cool against my ear. I grinned. I'm fine. To keep things natural, I straightened up and stepped back. Sure enough, she started pouting internally again. Wow, hubby shook off my hand. Does that mean he doesn't like me anymore? I was speechless. How are those two things even related? After Jennifer sent the project manager away, we headed downstairs together. People along the way couldn't stop staring, their gossip practically radiating. I silently thanked heaven we didn't work in the same company otherwise. Who knows what rumors would have spread? Jennifer, however, seemed to bask in the attention. As expected of my hubby, he looked so impressive next to me. They must think we're such a perfect couple. My hubby is the most handsome man in the whole world and the one who matches me best. I had to admit, that triple most filled me with smug satisfaction. With such a beautiful wife by my side, I couldn't help but feel proud, too. When we exited the building and she still hadn't left, I assumed she wanted to see me off. Fine by me. But as soon as the taxi arrived and I opened the door, Jennifer followed me in. What's going on? Was she actually planning to drop me off at work? That's a bit much. What are you doing? I couldn't help asking. She answered calmly. Didn't you say we were getting dinner? Don't be fooled by her frosty exterior inside. She was all fire. I raised a brow, suppressing a grin. Right. Dinner it is. Hey, if she was paying, I wasn't complaining. At the restaurant, Jennifer handed me the menu. One glance at the prices, and my eyes nearly popped out. The place looked shabby from the outside, but one dish cost several $100. I looked over at Jennifer's composed face and decided, fine, no need to hold back. While I ordered, she added a few house specials and said coolly, these dishes are pretty good, you should try them. Meanwhile, her heart was bleeding. Why did hubby order so little? He's lost weight from all the wedding stress. It breaks my heart. Even his 8-pack abs look smaller. Hubby has to eat more. My handsome hubby can't go hungry. Okay, I get it. You care. But did you really have to order 15 dishes? Still, credit where it's due. Her taste was impeccable. The food was incredible. Way better than the place looked. I ate so much I had to hold onto the wall to walk. After dinner, I said goodbye to Jennifer and went back to work. When my colleagues saw I'd nailed the project, they all asked for my secret. I just smiled. What secret could there be? If I told them the whole story, I'd have to start with how my dad was saved by Jennifer's dad in the war. My manager was pleased, though praised my performance while immediately booking me a flight. Another business trip. Even tougher this time. Guess that's what I get for standing out first bird gets shot. I was ready to cry, but what could I do? I forced a smile and accepted. That night, while I was packing, Jennifer came home late from work. Standing at the door, her pupils practically trembled. Is hubby going back to his parents' house? What happened? Did he hate the food I ordered at lunch? What did I do wrong? Oh no, what should I do? My hands paused mid-pack. I glanced over at Jennifer. Her imagination really had no limits. Seeing her watery eyes, ready to spill tears any second, I couldn't bring myself to tease her. I cleared my throat, stood straight, and said, there's a last-minute project at work. I have to fly out soon, so I came back to pack. Just to stop her from overthinking, I explained right away. Instantly, her expression softened. She nodded slightly. But inside she was cheering. Ha ha! Hubby's not going back to his parents. He's still mine. I'm so happy! But what kind of crappy company is this? Why would they send my hubby away like that? Is there some sleazy female boss going too? What if she calls him to her room at midnight? That imagination, unbelievable. Watching her worry herself sick, I felt a little bad. She was my wife, after all, and clearly she cared. I stepped closer to reassure her. Don't worry. I'll be back as soon as the project's done. It's just me going, and the client's a guy. Nothing to worry about. I softened my tone and hooked my pinky around hers. Jennifer's face stayed cool, but I didn't care what she looked like. I already knew exactly what she was thinking inside. Hubby explained everything himself. That means he really cares about what I think. I'm so happy. Hubby definitely has me in his heart. Then she looked down at me and asked cautiously, You're afraid I'd be upset? I nodded. You're my wife. Of course I care about your feelings. Then I added, I know you're worried something might happen while I'm away. But relax. I'm a grown man. I can take care of myself. As I spoke, I saw her face shift from gloom to brightness. If anything happens, tell me, she said coldly, though inside she was bursting with joy. Ha! You really think I don't know? I've got you figured out. Seeing me so cooperative, Jennifer even pushed it further. You have to call me every day and check in. I nodded. Okay. That was probably her real goal anyway. This clingy little love bug probably couldn't go 10 minutes without me before tearing up. Seeing me agree so easily, Jennifer glanced sideways at me. She tried to sneak a peek, but I caught her red-handed. I almost laughed. I'm your husband already. What's there to sneak around for? My eyes flicked, and I said, You can call me too, you know. Gotta give my frosty wife an easy out. Sure enough, her expression brightened. The next morning, Jennifer drove me to the airport herself. She kept her eyes on the road, all calm on the outside. But inside, she was babbling nonstop. Hubby's going alone. What if it's not safe? Should I go with him? But then would he think I'm too controlling? I mentally commented, not really. We're about to part. Not seeing hubby for a single day feels like 3 years. What should I do? I already miss him so much. I found myself getting anxious too. Then come with me already. Stop daydreaming and just act on it. But even when we arrived, Jennifer stayed perfectly composed, keeping up her cool goddess act. Inside, I grumbled, Fine, your highness. Stay proud. Let's see how you handle missing me. I dragged my suitcase and turned to go, half annoyed, half hopeful until she called out to me. For a split second, I felt thrilled. But all she said was, "Be safe." The way she said it, the look on her face, she sounded exactly like a strict homeroom teacher. Even my dad never talked to me that seriously. Fine, she's the wife I chose, after all. Still, on my first night at the hotel, I called Jennifer to let her know I was safe. Over the phone, she actually talked more than usual.
How's the hotel?
Is the project going smoothly? If you run into any problems, you can tell me. I chuckled softly. You're worried about me, huh? She'd been acting all calm at the airport, but just a few hours apart, and she couldn't hold back anymore. Jennifer answered honestly. Maybe because of the distance, I couldn't hear her thoughts now. Had no idea what was going through her mind. But that was fine. After spending this much time together, I'd already figured her out. We chatted for a while, and before hanging up, I reminded her to eat on time and told her I'd be back soon. She obediently agreed. Neither of us spoke again, but she didn't hang up either. So we just listened to each other breathe quietly. Then someone knocked on my door. A woman's voice called from outside. "Luke, want to grab dinner together?" "Coming." I replied, said a few more words to Jennifer, and hung up. I didn't think much of it, grabbed my jacket, and went out. Technically, I was supposed to come on this trip alone, but my boss, worried I couldn't handle it, sent a female colleague along. It was a last-minute decision, and no one told me ahead of time. We didn't even bump into each other until the airport gate. I didn't think it was a big deal, so I hadn't mentioned it to Jennifer. But that night, right on schedule, Jennifer called. It took her a long time to speak. "What were you doing just now?" "Eating." "Alone?" "No, with a colleague." "Didn't you say you were going alone?" After a few exchanges, I realized what she really wanted to ask. The colleague female, right? Her roundabout questioning was hilariously clumsy. I decided to address it head on. She was sent last minute, too. She's my subordinate, and she's married. Facing my frosty CEO wife, I laid it all out plainly. "On the other end?" Jennifer paused. "Just asking," she said flatly. Her tone was cool, but I couldn't help laughing. I teased. "Oh, I thought you were jealous." I clearly heard her breath hitch on the line. She fell silent, and I couldn't tell if she was angry or just speechless. I checked the time. It was still early, but sitting here in silence wasn't helping. I asked tentatively, "If there's nothing else, I'll hang up now?" What? That easy?" Guess she really wasn't worried. 3 days passed on the trip. Before leaving, I told her it would last 3 days, so when I called that morning, she probably thought I was already on my way home. Trying to sound casual, she even asked if she should come pick me up at the airport. I wasn't trying to mess with her, but as I stood by the hotel window, I said lazily, "The 3-day trip got extended to 5. We'll see after that." Got it. Not another word? But come on, I could tell just from her tone that she was fuming. I decided to stir her up a bit. "Wife, we haven't seen each other in 3 days. I really miss you." Silence on the line, just her uneven breathing. "Anyway, it's getting late. Go to bed early, okay? I'm hanging up." I set my phone on the nightstand, jumped on the bed, and burst out laughing under the covers. I could picture exactly what kind of face Jennifer was making right now. The next morning, a loud knock woke me up. I thought it was my colleague calling me to breakfast, so I threw on a jacket and opened the door, and froze. Standing there was Jennifer herself, in a white dress, looking stunningly ethereal. My jaw dropped. "What? Did she teleport here?" Her wide, glistening eyes locked on my face as she stepped closer. "What did you mean by what you said last night?" I blinked, still groggy from sleep. "Huh? What did I say?" In my head, I heard her inner voice, loud and clear. "Hubby, you said you missed me?" "Don't tell me you forgot." "Whatever. I'm already here. He can't possibly kick me out now, right?" I almost laughed out loud. Was this really the same icy goddess everyone else saw? I stepped forward and wrapped my arms around her. "Did you miss me?" Jennifer said nothing, but her thoughts were practically screaming. "Yes! I missed you so much, hubby! It was so loud it made my ears ring!" I bit my lip, pretending I hadn't heard. "Oh, you don't miss me? Then I guess I don't miss you either." I turned to head back into the room. Jennifer suddenly grabbed my arm. She nodded. "I missed you. I leaned down and kissed her. That's your reward. Huh, see? You're no match for me. Her heart nearly burst with joy. Wow, hubby kissed me. Good thing I bought that ticket and rushed here overnight. Still, I didn't lose myself in all that sweetness. I changed clothes, told her to wait in the room, and went out for my meeting. The deal was basically done anyway, and today we finally signed the contract. All wrapped up. To celebrate, the client invited us to dinner. Since they were the big bosses, my colleague and I couldn't exactly refuse. Of course, dinner meant a few drinks. I kept it moderate, but still ended up a bit tipsy. Standing in the hallway afterward, I ran right into Jennifer. Without caring that others were around, she slipped her arm through mine. Why did hubby drink this much? He looks so handsome when he's drunk. Wah. Should I take advantage of him? I was drunk, not unconscious. Okay? Cool it, Ice Queen. I tilted my head toward her, letting my fingers trace lightly over her collarbone purely to tease her on purpose. Her eyes reddened slightly, and her palm felt hot enough to burn my skin. Once we got back to the hotel room, I couldn't hold back anymore. I pressed her against the door and kissed her hard. Not pretending anymore, I said between breaths. Jennifer froze for a second, leaning back slightly, eyes full of confusion. I rested my hand over her heartbeat, staring at the smudge where her lipstick had rubbed off. I've been able to hear your thoughts all along. For a moment, her eyes filled with shock. Her heartbeat went wild. Clear as day, she was rattled. I brushed past her shoulder, taking off my jacket as I walked deeper into the room. When I turned back, she was still standing there, dazed. Hubby can hear my thoughts? For real? This is so embarrassing. He's not mad, right? No, I can't think anymore. God, she was adorable. I loved her so damn much. I called her over, and she shuffled toward me like an obedient little koala. I grabbed her by the hem of her shirt and tugged hard. Do you love me? I stared straight into her eyes. She was my wife. What was there to be afraid of? If you don't dare say it, forget it. When she didn't answer, I loosened my tie.
I do,
She said firmly. Perfect. Talking big was fun, but the next morning I really needed my mom to cook me a full recovery meal. Jennifer slept till noon. That alone proved how hard I'd worked last night. My ego had never been happier. On the plane, Jennifer held my hand the entire time, attracting curious glances from the flight attendants. I felt a little embarrassed and turned to see her pretending to sleep. I tried to slip my hand free, but the moment I moved, she gripped tighter. This girl, pretending to sleep? I half suspected she'd learned to control her thoughts after finding out about my mind reading just to keep me from listening in. But whatever. I already knew how she felt. After we got home, Jennifer cooked dinner herself. Seeing her in a pink piggy apron, chopping vegetables like a pro, left me speechless. As far as I remembered, she didn't even know how to cook. Noticing my confusion, Jennifer chuckled softly. I know you're a foodie, so I learned to cook just for you. When did that happen? I asked, surprised. It couldn't have been during my business trip, right? From the way Jennifer moved so smoothly in the kitchen. She must have been practicing for months. Jennifer turned down the flame on the stove, then walked over to me. Luke. It was the first time she'd ever called my name so seriously, and my heart skipped a beat. Actually, I've liked you for a long time. You said you could hear my thoughts, didn't you? Then you should already know how I feel about you. It's just that back when we met, you rarely talked to me. I thought you didn't like me, so I never dared to confess. Not until our parents set us up on that blind date. I honestly thought you'd say no to the marriage. Jennifer said softly, I really regret not being with you sooner. She took my hand and looked at me with such deep affection. What about you? Do you like me too? I shook my head. For a moment, I saw the light in her eyes flicker. Just as her heart was about to sink, I stepped forward and wrapped her in my arms. It's a lot more than just like. My cheek rested against her chest, feeling the strong, steady beat of her heart, and I couldn't help but laugh quietly. You're that happy? Jennifer hugged me back, rose on tiptoe, and kissed the corner of my lips. Aren't you the one who always knows how I feel? Yeah, I knew. Wait, no. I closed my eyes and focused. I really couldn't hear Jennifer's thoughts anymore. I couldn't even remember when it had stopped, but it didn't matter. Our hearts were already in sync. I couldn't help but ask, "So, when did you start liking me?" Jennifer shook her head. "I can't remember. Maybe since that time with the lollipop?" I looked at her and suddenly laughed. "So it started back then." I pulled her close. "Wife, me too." I smiled without another word. Thinking back, the moment Jennifer called me husband in front of a room full of adults, my fate was sealed. I was destined to be hers for life. Who would have thought Luke Dawson would be lucky enough to marry an elegant, bossy CEO like her? This is the greatest blessing of my life, and I'll cherish it forever.